and welcome back to Rugby Connection. Now, this week we have roundup of some of the finals, including Top 14, Currie Cup, and Sean's beloved MLR. And we've kind of got the International Summer Series started. Joining us this week, it's not Kyle. Harv's back once again.
Hey.
How are we, mate?
I'm all right. How are you, mate?
I'm good. It's been a long day. We've had a good day with the family. So, yeah, but I'm absolutely knackered. I've had a horrific shift over the weekend, but I'll tell you about that later. But so much rugby, as always.
Yeah, exactly.
Where would you like to start, Harv?
Oh, wow. Should we go? Let's go last Friday. Let's dig deep already. And let's go with the team final.
The what final?
Top 14.
Top 14. Sorry. No, there was an ice cream truck that went past when you said top. Yeah. Montpellier, champions of France. Love to see it. Yeah, I called it by accident.
What do you mean by accident?
Well, right. You know I've never watched Top 14 like all season. No. So Kyle asked me last week who's winning at Cast or Montpellier. I'm like, oh no, we'll go Montpellier. So there we go.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, from what I've seen of them this season, they've been great. I mean, I've seen them over two legs with Harlequins. I've seen what they can do. They are an incredible unit. One lad I do want to talk about in particular, Zach Mercer.
Yep.
I can't think of any English club that shouldn't have him on the phone this summer.
No, I'm with you on that. Well, no, you could take this with a pinch of salt. I took it with a pinch of salt because of the source. It's from ruck.com, so brace yourself. Apparently, Zach Mercer could play for Scotland. Like, you know, with the whole eligibility. I don't know how. I don't know where.
I mean, how long has it been since his last? Well, it'd be more than 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was hoping for an England call last season, and then he went, "If I don't get it, I'm heading to France."
Didn't. But like, look at how one season overseas can just completely change him.
Yeah. Oh, it's on. He's topped the leaderboard in 2 player league tables. So he's done the most offloads this season.
By an 8.
With an 8 as a number 8, and I think it's the most meters gained.
But he is like, you know, again, take this with a pinch of salt. He has been one of the best ball carriers this season.
Oh, 100%.
I think, you know, whether he's eligible for Scotland, you know, I think he will, at least if he goes back to England, will try and claim for England.
Yeah.
You know, it would add to Eddie's headache for who to pick. But to be honest, I'm not even sure what Eddie's head's capable of these days. But listen, you know, if he comes back to England, you know, re-signs with Bath or even goes somewhere else, he'd do damage in the Prem because he's let himself grow this year. And this is what I'm thinking, that we need more English players. I think, you know, maybe on the cusp of a call up, but maybe not. But Eddie's not convinced. Maybe they just need to go out, you know, France or someone that's going to test them. And, you know, Joe Marchant went on loan to the Blues for a season. Obviously that was cut short, but from what I saw, wasn't awful. So I'd honestly like to see some young English talent at least go out and try their trade somewhere else. I was saying this when Sarries went down. It'd be a big shame if some of their players didn't go out on loan to try and keep with top level rugby. Obviously they're back and they made a Premiership final, so the one season off definitely wasn't bad. But you know, the top 14 is a competitive league, a very, very good league at least. And I think it's a real shame that we, as viewers in the UK, don't get to watch it regularly.
That's fair. I think if it was more accessible, I'd definitely proper watch it.
I mean, how many people have a Premier Sports because of subscription these days? Just a few.
I mean, I have it, but it's pure for the URC.
Yeah, exactly. You support Edinburgh, and you know, you want to watch
Yeah, gotta watch The Voice.
Gotta watch The Voice.
But I've noticed this has become like a recurring theme now over the years for England. So, like, the Armitage brothers went to France, absolutely tore it up. Nicky Bendenin, another one, became European Player of the Year. And now Zach Mercer.
You know, I think it'd be worth it one season out and then come back and bring your trades back, because there's a lot to be gaining overseas. But I mean, if we just go back to actually what happened on Friday, Montpellier have been incredible all season long. You know, they finished 10th last season, which, you know, no, I don't think a lot of people would have seen them, you know, at the top, but they have been incredible. And when I mean incredible, they have been incredible. They are amazing at the breakdown. They're an amazing defensive team. And they do actually play a lovely brand of rugby. You know, going through some of the talent they've got, you know, Paolo Garbisi is keeping Andre Pollard to the bench.
Yeah, that's unreal. That sentence will never just sit properly in my head.
And of course, Pollard's leaving to the Tigers next season, but Paolo Garbisi,
some player, special player.
Like, for club and country, he is an incredible player.
He's what, 20, 22, maybe?
I mean, yeah, he came into the fold when he was about 20, 21 last year. Well,
we're having a look.
His first game for Italy was his like 5th ever professional game.
Yeah.
Which
he's 22 years old.
22 years old, and he's a French champion.
Yep.
He's keeping a World Cup winner to the bench.
Yep. Talisman, club and country, 22 years old.
If that doesn't tell you how talented this side are, I don't know what will.
It's crazy. It's insane.
I think the top 14 has got to be, you know, one of the most incredible leagues, and I think next season might even be poised for something even better. Because who would have called Castres versus Montpellier in the final? You know, you would have placed your Toulouse, La Rochelle. You would have placed them up there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Who, again, are both incredible units,
yeah.
But these two are also incredible units. So I've honestly got no other words to say about Montpellier. What a season they've had! What an incredible team they are!
Yeah,
and David winners.
Well, funny that you mentioned Zach Mercer and potentially come back to England.
Right.
I'm just looking at it here, and I don't know if you could see it, but I'll read it out anyway. It does say Zach Mercer eyes Rugby World Cup chance after the top 14 victory. Eddie, listen.
Eddie, you've got a big enough squad to have this man and whoever else you want.
Yep. I mean, 100%. All I'm saying is, don't let it get cold before you call him up like you did Sam Simmons. I know it's a totally different player, but you know what I mean? Like, everyone was begging for Sam Simmons in the England team. It took him to get into the Lions, to get Eddie to click. Don't waste that much time on Zach Mercer, because we will take him. Pinch of salt intended, but if there's any Scottish in him, you know it's going to happen.
But honestly, listen, you know, I've actually watched both these teams this year twice, and that was against Harlequins in the Champions Cup. They are both incredible sides, and to be fair, it was an all right game. I think, you know, Montpellier, they took the early lead. They were 17-0 up in the first 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, if that doesn't say anything, nothing will. Basically just dominant space, to be honest. Cash just couldn't keep their hands on him.
That's fair. Castres are a very weird team for me, because they always seem...
When you think about like the big French teams, like, no one says Cash.
But yet they're always in like the final or there or thereabouts somehow.
They're always up there, Champions Cup, playoffs, whatever. fair play to them, but it's a bit weird.
Nobody talks. Yeah, that's very weird. But I mean, let's move on. We're going to quickly dive into the most popular one, the MLR.
Yes, our lad Sean, he was he had the media pass. He was live streaming. I went on there, caused a bit of havoc and left. The thing is, I told him what I was going to say, and he was like, "Please don't." So I went on there, typed, "Is rugby just football without pads?" And he gave the camera a death stare, and I knew that was at me.
That's brilliant. But yeah, and again, Sean's beloved Rugby United New York. Get the crown.
Funny story, actually. So it's 30-15. That's the final score.
Yeah.
Sean was saying on the live, he was just like, "Oh, I want your score predictions in," and I think at the time it was 7-5 to New York.
Yeah.
I checked out there. I was like, right, 28-15.
Oh,
2 points off. Like, I just needed the one of the conversions to miss.
No, go on. Oh yeah, you needed it to miss. Sorry, yeah.
I was absolutely gutted, but you know what? It's fair play to New York. Again, you know, this is Seattle Seawolves side that are one of the most decorated in MLR. Well, they are the most decorated in MLR history. Yeah. You know, they took championships after championships and bounce. Well, I think only 2. But again, they did it twice in a row. So they're a good side, a really good side. And obviously Rugby New York, America is a growing market for rugby, but New York especially, they're quite a beloved team, or at least this is what Sean tells us.
Yes,
this is all propaganda to make us like support them. But no, again, but New York have also got good players. I mean, Waisaki Naholo, Nihi Milner-Skudder on the wing. Yeah,
unreal. World Cup winners. 2 World Cup winners, and their talisman at number 9. It might have been his last game. I'm not too sure.
Last game.
Andy Ellis, what a legend! He's Super Rugby champion with Crusaders, and yeah.
You know, he got the try on his last game, and I saw all the celebrations, and everyone was watching him, and it was really, really cute actually to watch. You know, to see him lift the trophy. Honestly, that made my heart warm.
That's what you want, though.
It's what rugby. It's not all rugby's all about, to be honest.
I mean, what a time to be alive. Freddie Burns getting his fairy tale ending, Andy Ellis scoring potentially the winning try in his final game. Best sport.
What a season we've had.
That's unreal. And we're just diving into the internationals now. We've still got so much to go.
Exactly. I mean, has the rugby season even ended? Will it ever end?
Does it ever end?
Does it?
No. You just have a few quiet weeks. That's all it is.
Yeah, 3 weeks off between internationals and leagues, and that's about it.
No, I don't even think it'll be 3 weeks this time round.
Oh,
2.
God.
A week and a half. 10 days off, and then we go again.
Perfect. Sign me up.
But it's just so much has been going on. Like Scotland A. I know it's not a cap match, but against Chile, first time a Tier 1 nations went across to Chile, and you could tell they loved every minute of it. The scoreline, I don't really care.
Yeah. I think in games like that, it doesn't really matter. You know, Chile want the challenge, and it's a good chance to develop some of the young Scotland players.
Yeah.
I like Chile. You know, they showed their strength against Canada in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Don't know if they beat the USA.
That's next week. That was their warm up.
Next week.
Yeah, we go again. Scotland was Chile's warm up.
Up Chile. I mean, I know I'm wearing the Argentina shirt, but this is for the Scotland match next week.
Close enough.
But listen, you know, it's a big time for South American rugby, I think, because Uruguay have obviously been spurred on in 2019.
Yeah.
You know, this would be their 3rd World Cup in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Mad to think about that, actually.
You know, people only think like Uruguay only exists at World Cups.
No, they don't.
They don't. But they've got a World Cup win. Well, not the whole thing. I mean, they won a game.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. They've won a game.
But they beat Fiji. I mean, what a time! What a time! It's looking exciting for South American rugby at the moment.
100%.
Obviously, Brazil have a strong ladies side.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they start to incorporate that into the men's. One interesting thing, actually, and I'm quickly going to deviate off while we're talking about South American rugby, is the Super League Americana.
Is this where the Chilean team beat the Jaguares?
Yeah. So Jaguares finished third in a 6-team league and got through to the playoffs, and they got beaten by Selknam, who got beaten by Penarol in the final. Oh. So again, spurred on, and hopefully this might be the rise for South American rugby, and I'm all for it. I love South America. I'd love to go down to Argentina to watch. I'd love to go to Buenos Aires.
Yeah,
the stadium looks immense. Watching the rugby championship with Argentina when the lads go away to Argentina, that's some of my favourite games to watch. So give us more.
Yeah, give us more. I'm going to flip it back onto the Scottish side just briefly, just because the A games are very weird. It's youngsters proving a point. It's people coming back from injury. That kind of weird niche mix that people say mean nothing. It does mean something. Damien Hoyland, hat-trick. And you could say, yeah, it's against Chile. This man is pushing to get into the Scotland team. He has only got 4 caps for Scotland since 2015, purely just because of injury. But he's back, he's strong, he's massive. I don't know what he's been doing, but apart from making coffee, but
I think looking actually at the Scotland A squad, there are some names that jump out to mind, and actually ones I've actually seen in real life when we went to Murrayfield. Jamie Batty, Dave Cherry, Matt Fagerson.
Yeah.
Big name, George Horn, Jamie Hodgson, Rufus McLean. You were absolutely exciting yourself at that one game in Murrayfield, and Ross Thompson, Sione Tuapolotu as well. These are big names.
Big names. I mean, even look at the bench. Pierre Schumann was on the bench. Alec Price,
Blair Kinghorn.
Yeah,
he gave me a high five at the dam once, so
yeah,
I'll never forget that. Never forget that.
Yeah, it's good. And Chile, I will end on this. Chile play some bloody good rugby. Very exciting, very high tempo. And they love to keep the ball alive.
Some samba rugby.
I will let you know this because I know you were begging me for it a while ago. I have found a Chile top. I've not got it yet, but I will.
We'll talk it. We'll talk it over.
That much.
Whew. If Chile get into the World Cup, I might have to invest.
I might invest now. Those tops are lovely, and it adds to the never-ending collection I have.
Exactly. I've got a bit slow, but we'll move on.
Talk about another close encounter, the one that's maybe very close to your heart, Portugal, Italy.
Yes. Bit of background for I don't think I've ever said it on this this podcast. I did actually used to live in Portugal, so I feel a connection. But 31-38 to Italy. Some game. It took an 89th minute try.
Penalty try
to win the game. I'm literally just going through the list here of events. I can't tell you how many missed penalties there were. I'm just counting them up now. 16 missed penalties in the first half. 16.
Oh dear. Deary me. Did you see?
I've forgotten. There's 4 more. That's 20 over the whole first half.
Just the first half, there was 20 missed penalties.
Just the first half. I'm pretty sure half of them were into red time.
Jesus. Well, did you see the Did you see the lineup?
I did.
I mean, that's a strong Italy team.
Yeah.
Fischetti, CC,
Capozzo,
Michel Amaro,
Luca Marin, Padovani.
yeah,
You know, again, these.
Ange Capozzo.
Hey,
Grazie.
big fan, big fan. But even so, this is again a strong Portugal side that they played a lot of the rugby championship with, Rugby Europe Championship.
Yeah.
So you knew they were going to try and bring their A game. But
yeah, I mean that's close. You would never think that to be that close. And again, that's only through like lack of exposure on Portuguese rugby.
Exactly, but listen, I last time I went out to Portugal actually, it's just before the World Cup,
right?
And there's rugby on telly. There's the Rugby Championship on telly, live in Portuguese. I think it was South Africa, Argentina, where South Africa won the Rugby Championship.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm all for it. I mean, Portugal, they made their first and only World Cup appearance in 2007. Unfortunately, actually, no, I think they're going through the qualifiers now, the European qualifiers, with Spain's exclusion.
Yes, so if you don't know, Spain got kicked out a few months ago because of playing a player illegally.
Yeah, South African player, but he had no Spanish thingy.
Forged the passport and everything. They appealed it, and this week, World Rugby went, no, you're out.
He played.
So Romania. Romania's got their spot.
Romania has got the auto spot, and Portugal have got the qualifying spot.
Let's go for it. And sorry to kick a team. Sorry, Carv. Just to kick a team while they're down. Spain also got beat by the Barbarians in a very lackluster game, considering I just said Barbarians. 26-7.
Yeah, to be honest, there wasn't much in the game. Tom Wood and Devin Toner's swan song. Again, no, it wasn't the same as Barbar's England, George Cruz backkill conversion, crazy stuff. I feel like Barbars, they play an amazing game against England, but against anyone else, it's just meh.
That's fair.
I mean, they get the one thing against England, and that's some big players. Obviously, they'll put in one ex-England player. They're that 1 year with Chris Ashton and Joe Marler. Then this year was Vakatawa, Peno, Olivon, like big French players, and then the side was all right. Halley Parks, Tom Wood, Devin Toner, but the
rest was just meh. It was just a meh game.
Yeah, so it's not much else to comment on, to be honest.
There's no. Any transfer news? Oh, actually, no. Before we go into transfer news, the mess that is going on in New Zealand right now. So, if you are not aware, this all came out today as we're recording on Monday. Ian Foster and John Plumtree of the All Blacks have COVID, so they can't be part of the first test. David Avili and Jack Goodhue also have it on New Zealand side. They've called in none other than former Ireland head coach and Kiwi Joe Schmidt. Joe Schmidt will be in charge of the All Blacks against Ireland for the first
time. That's incredible. Because I know how much some of the Irish fans actually really like Joe Schmidt.
Yeah, well, he's about to break your hearts.
He wasn't a bad coach at all, in my opinion. Yeah. Played an effective brand of rugby. But it's a bit shithouse, isn't it?
It came out of nothing. Like, there was a report I read, and again, you can take it with a pinch of salt. I don't really think the source is that credible. So, like an hour after it came out that Joe Schmidt was going to be in charge of the All Blacks, apparently Scott Robertson is going to look to go to the Wallabies, after being snubbed by the All Blacks. I'm like, I doubt it, because that's not really a snub. That's more just, can you help us out for this game?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a snub.
Listen, this whole COVID thing, this is, obviously it's a bit more prevalent. Well, not even prevalent, more serious down under. If you're not from the UK, we basically have no COVID laws. You can go out with COVID if you want to. In England, I'm pretty sure. Scotland might be different.
Yeah, you can do that now. You shouldn't, but you can.
Yeah, you can drive a car without a license physically, but you shouldn't. That's basically the rules. I
mean, you're not wrong. Yeah.
Moving on. But I know this COVID situation is taken a lot more seriously down under, and to be honest, like it should be. And obviously, I know that there was a little spike in the England camp, which I only think was Johnny May out, but I can already see you smiling.
I didn't mean it. It just kind of like came out naturally. I hope he is okay. I know that I'm not.
Johnny, if you're listening, we hope you're okay, and please come back for the second test.
I hope you're okay. Not the second one.
No, but it just seems like a bit of a last minute stretch.
Yeah, I mean, there is one man that we all wish would get better as well. Obviously, we want all of them to be fit and ready, regardless of how you feel about them as players. But our boy, Mac Hansen, he's out of the first test because he tested positive. Yeah. We love you, Mac. I hope you're okay.
And that you're back fit.
Yeah, and you're back fit. But you need to let the locks go, mate. Like, take the scrum cap off and let them flow.
Oh, yeah, come on. I need to see like full
slow motion Mac Hansen.
Proper. Just take the scrum cap off as a celebration and just whip the hair out.
Yeah. I think we were going to say just whip it out, but that's a different thing altogether. But we have got like a lot of rugby next week. So shall we do? We start on Wednesday this week for games. We have the Maori All Blacks against Ireland. Now they are not pulling any punches with this squad. I will run by it right now because there's already 2 omissions from the All Black squad before the squads were even announced, and now that the squads have been announced, it's frightening. Like, I could see an upset.
This gives me like South Africa A versus Lions vibes last year. They just applied the whole Springbok squad.
No, it's not. No, it's not quite that diverse. It is very mixed and it is very Maori.
But New Zealand have the talent pool, like.
Oh, they do. So you're up to date with Super Rugby. You know your stuff as well.
Yeah.
So you ready for this? So I'll do 1 to 15. So it's Ollie Norris, Kurt Eklund, Tyrell Lomax.
Ooh.
Second row is Josh Dixon and Isaiah Walker-Lawira.
All right.
Your back row is Cameron Sofoa, Billy Harmon, and Colin Grace. Starting at 9 and co-captain is Brad Webber. At 10, Josh Ioane.
Right.
The centres are Ramika Pafifi and Billy Proctor. And the back 3 is Connor Garden-Bashett, Sean Stevenson, and Zarn Sullivan.
You'd expect Ireland to win this, but like they just, you pull out the Tyrell Lomax and the Brad Webber, and I'm just like,
yeah. On the bench, TJ Perinara, Ruben Love, and Balin Sullivan.
Oh my God.
I love it.
This is like, what the hell, man? Like, this is, obviously, like Scotland A had, your young and upcoming stars, and so does this. But then you're basically just putting like the full-on All Blacks in there.
Yeah. Kia Harry Maori. There you go.
Oh my God. Listen, you expect Ireland to win this, but don't be surprised if they don't.
Oh, yeah, don't be surprised if they don't. Don't be angry if they don't either, because Maori All Blacks is special. Our boy's not in it, though.
No.
Nah. Maybe next one. Alex Nankiville. Spoke Maori for him and he didn't even know what I meant. There's a reason behind it. Yeah, he's not long found out that he has Maori heritage. So
yeah.
he always wanted to be an All Black because he didn't know he was Maori All Black. Simple, fair enough. So I speak more Maori than him, which is pretty cool.
You can use that as the massive flex of the week. Just I speak more Maori than a
Maori All Black. Yeah, hey, there's my flex of the week. But yeah, transfer news. It's nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Edinburgh have signed prop Nick Altrick from Northampton Saints. Now, Nick was in the Scotland team in the autumn, wasn't picked for selection, just trained with the boys. I feel like this is going to push that, though, coming up to Edinburgh, and we need a prop. As much as I love Pierre Shimon, we can't just rely on shooting.
No, of course not. I mean, again, Edinburgh, like on face value, have quite a good squad actually, but I think depth is something that needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah, I mean that is our third signing for the next season. We've got Nick Altrick, Sam Skinner, and Wes Husson that Rugby Connection already knew about 3-4 months ago, which is still weird to say that. And the big one, I suppose you could call it that, Racing 92, as we know, Cartley Beale left to pursue his World Cup hopes, so he's away back to Australia. Who did they get to replace him? None other than URC champion Warwick Gallant. It's just the most Racing thing ever.
Listen, Racing and Toulouse are one of these teams where they watch like the top level, just be like, he's good, I'll nab him.
So it's like career mode, but in real life.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, taking was it not last week Melvin Jaminet went to Toulouse?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Toulouse, they purely just watch the French squad and just like, which one of these players isn't ours? And they're just like, Melvin, yeah, he's ours.
I mean, there is a rumour circling. I've just looked it up. This came up an hour ago.
Right.
And it affects the Stormers. So, by Warwick Gallant. Hello, potentially, Cheslin Colby. Cheslin Colby could be playing in the URC next season with Stormers, according to reports in the South African media.
Was he not a former Stormer?
He was when they dipped.
Yeah.
He was a Stormer. He set up that lovely try with it.
Yes.
He was the one that kicked it through.
Lovely.
That's all I did in a Stormers jersey.
I think, being with South Africa breaking more into the European threshold at the moment, whether or not you agree with that is a different thing. But he's still playing in the same competitions against similar competition. And also being back at home. This might just be a move that could suit him.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, with Toulon, probably wasn't the most successful in the whole world. I mean, obviously he Cheslin Colby, but he wasn't like Cheslin Colby.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I totally agree with you on that. It feels a bit rushed. I don't know why. I feel like he just moved to Toulon.
Yeah, it's weird. So many years with Toulouse. Well, I say so many years. still, it was multiple years. Dip Toulon, you know, I remember everyone picking it up. That was like a big thing when it happened, and then pretty quiet.
Yeah. I mean, last thing from, it's not transfers because they're not announced where they're going, but they're definitely leaving. Newcastle Falcons have announced 16 players will be leaving.
What?
The names are Josh Basham, Mike Brown, Luther Burrell.
I just heard Mike Brown. I've got my fingers crossed. I'm just like, give him a swan song, please.
Oscar Cotto. Who else we got? We've got Kyle Cooper, Rob Farrar, Marco Souza, Will Hayden Wood. The list just goes on and on. I mean, there's like 3 pages. Instead of just putting it on the one page, they've put it on the floor. That's how much.
4 pages.
Joel Hodgson, Ollie Lindsay-Haig from England Sevens, Will Montgomery, Morgan Passman. What the hell? Page 4 now. Keep going. Oh no, there's one. He's actually signed for Bath. Is Louis Schroeder.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So there's one definitely know where he's going. Robbie Smith, Matthew Ward, and Max Wright. All gone from Newcastle.
Do Newcastle even have a team left?
I don't know, but they're all too busy to talk to RCP if you listen to the media.
I mean, listen, you know, apart from Adam Radwan, that's about it, to be honest.
And their hooker, who was on Jamie Bommeyer as well.
There we go. Do they even have a team like one back and one forward, and then they just think that's sorted? Yeah, all that's just standing around.
Still weird that they have a Premiership team.
Back in the day,
yeah,
very good.
Doddy Weir, Pat Lam, Johnny Wilkinson, Underwoods,
incredible.
Gary Armstrong.
But even so, actually, and we'll put this in as a debate question.
Oh, you could tell Harv's back. Finish one of the debate question.
Where do you think teams are going wrong in terms of attendances? Because one thing that's been flagged up in the Premiership this year, and especially on the back of certain teams, let's just say not coming out for the Championship, is attendance. Ealing and Doncaster needed a stadium of 10k capacity to make it into the Premiership. When teams such as Salem, Worcester are not even couldn't even fill Ealing's capacity at the currently.
Yeah, but they have the capacity to do it.
They have the capacity. I mean, 6 ways is decent. Massive. A lot of American football gets played there. The club I used to play for have played there multiple times, won championships there. So it's a facility. Even Kingston Park is still decent. Mm-hmm. They're holding the Rugby League World Cup later this year, a couple games at Kingston Park. So they're good facilities, but are they suitable for such teams?
Well, see, I remember you mentioned this to me because, to me, attendance is more important than capacity, in my opinion.
I know what you're about to say, and it's about the dam.
Not just the dam, but, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Connaught. I don't think the Dragons have a big... I know the Dragons are pretty shit, but you know what I mean? Like, they don't have big stadiums, but they do get a decent-sized crowd in.
Cardiff Arms Park.
Cardiff Arms Park's tiny.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
It's not massive, but still, lads are going.
Yeah, but that's so stupid. I don't get where capacity would work if you were guaranteed to fill them. Then yeah.
I think that's fair enough. And one thing that
you're not.
I read Ealing's statement when they first made the appeal before they withdrew it. That the Premier League in football, who has much higher attendances than Premiership Rugby,
Naturally, yeah.
because football is currently, in terms of fan viewership and everything, a bigger sport than rugby.
It shouldn't be, but yeah.
Their minimum capacity is actually 5k. To be in the Premier League in football, a bigger sport for fan viewership,
Has less capacity.
needs 5k.
I think a way to get people in, and I'm just basing this off purely off Scottish rugby, because I don't know how other clubs work. Kids go for £1. That seems to work so well.
You need to.
All you're literally paying for is an adult ticket.
Listen, I think that's fair enough. I think, they need to do whatever they can get to get the fans in. Again, rugby should be, Ugo Monye's mentioned it in the last few weeks about lavish drinking culture, whatever, and how we need to plan it. That's a whole debate in itself, but he made a good point in saying that rugby needs to be a bit family orientated.
Oh yeah, 100%.
When I went to the big game back in December, some lad behind me took his 2 sons, and it was their first ever rugby game, and my God, they were enjoying it.
Yeah,
that's what it should be about.
Exactly. Well, because if you make it,
or 2 sons or daughters, and takes them to rugby, and that's how you're going to fill it. It should be family orientated. It should be like that. And some clubs do it well. You think about Northampton, Leicester.
I love a family day.
Those clubs are very, family-based clubs. Got a really strong fan base in that aspect. Always fill it out, and it's quite a friendly atmosphere to go to.
I think Exeter is quite like that as well. That's not biased. They're very family-oriented.
Well, even down in Devon, Cornwall, where rugby is big. That's the type of crowd you're going to get.
Yeah. There's so many easy ways to do it, and making it family-oriented is one, because it's all very well and good having me, like people my age and Harv's age, to go to games who already love rugby. You want that next generation and the generation after that coming in.
Exactly.
Like, my little one, like Carter's 2. So when he turns 3, you will be coming to the games with me.
Exactly. And you took him to the Lions last year at Murrayfield.
I wasn't allowed.
Oh, okay.
I tried. I really tried, but
yeah. Well, I didn't get that. I didn't get that far with you in the message because you were probably too excited. But this is what I'm saying. This is how you're going to get the crowds in. And another thing you also mentioned, I saw you talking about TikTok the other day, was media presence. And I will I've just come off recording a Formula One podcast. It's fresh in my mind.
Boo! Sorry.
Drive Survive. Really brought generation fans in. Whether I've liked the landscape of Formula One since then is a different story. But
I already know what you're on about. So
angry snaps of me watching the Grand Prix. But this is what I'm saying. Like, rugby needs to have a bigger media presence where people see it and think, "Oh, this is fun. I really like this. I find this interesting. I might start going to rugby. I might start watching rugby."
Oh yeah. You know what actually got me revitalized? I kind of already liked the sport, but then again, a documentary on Netflix really went, I really like this. It was The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Pick a player, a marquee player from rugby.
Listen,
don't do it on Amazon. I'm not bashing Amazon. Their All or Nothing is fantastic. Their documentaries are very well put together, and like they're more biopics, aren't they? Do a proper documentary series on. Netflix. Do one on Brian O'Driscoll.
Brian O'Driscoll, yeah. I mean, they did Dan Carter the Perfect 10.
And he is the perfect 10.
He is the perfect 10. And I've watched it. It's good.
Yeah, I've seen the Rich McCall, Loving the Legend. That's a bit more closer to home, though. That's very much the man behind the jersey, which is nice.
Yeah.
But you have to know who Richard McCall is to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but if you give us like a Last Dance, Brian O'Driscoll's last season where they won the Six Nations. He was on the Lions tour, and Leinster won the Champions Cup.
Perfect way to go out, and perfect thing to film on.
Netflix, I'm waiting on your call. I interview players all the time. Let's make a Brian O'Driscoll. I'm not going to lie, I will shit myself if that ever happens. But yeah,
I'll just be the man with the clipboard, doing an interview scene.
That seems a lot harder than that. Actually, if you look at outtakes, that never goes right. Anyway, we're going off topic. Harv, welcome back.
Thank you.
And I mean, if you like our channel, hit the subscribe button, get that notification bell ringing, because we have got so much coming out. We have just launched our women's rugby show, 2 props, 1 pod, with the prop life and the chatty life, Gemma and Anya. It's just fun. It's just a bit of fun. Gets women into rugby, talks about women's rugby, the good bits, the bad bits, the funny bits, all of it. All of the things you love about rugby. Yeah. And obviously the final whistle interviews. Our most recent one was none other than AJ McGinty. Great lad. Great laugh. Top bloke. Very focused, very family oriented as well. Coming out next week, we have 7 superstar Robbie Ferguson. And then the list just keeps coming. Like, I mean, the names all just keep getting bigger. Harvey lost his marbles at 1, and that's not even being like proper locked in yet. But I did one at the weekend, and it is probably one of our biggest names. And that's all I'm saying. But there you go. Harv, welcome back. Good to see you back where you belong. And yeah, just get the word out there. We're now on Twitter. This man's behind
Twitter. I'm behind the scenes running that. Tiny bit biased, but it's fine.
This whole pod is tiny bit biased. It's heavily biased now that I'm like I'm running it now. It's heavily biased. No, it's not. I don't think. It is when the summer's on, because you've got Scotland. Then you've got England.
This is the Scottish Connection podcast.
Scottish Connection podcast. I feel like that's already been taken. But anyway, yeah. This has been the Rugby Connection with Murray and Harv this week, and we will see you next time.